What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode with AB Investments. This is going to be an important video, and I know it's much earlier than last night's video, so sorry about that, guys. But this is an important video because it comes at a time of so much noise, and where there's a lot of commotion and noise, there's a lot of opportunity for division. And that's where evil slithers through and tries to, divide and conquer. Now, here's the thing. This video is about when shorts go to close their short positions, basically willingly, versus the opposition, second scenario here. Shorts, or those same predatory short hedge funds, having to close due to margin calls. The two are completely different because the difference is literally like east to west or north to south. So in the first case, the short hedge fund creates a short position, initiates a short position at XYZ stock somewhere up here. Price drops. Forget about the reasons of why it dropped, whether it's legal or illegal, but the price drops all the way down here. And now the same shortened hedge fund, the predatory one, goes in and says, you know what? Let's collect our profits. They go in the market. They buy back all these shares that they initially borrowed from that respective party that they initiated the short position with, and they buy the shares, and then they basically retire them, like return them to the entity that they borrowed them from. But they're buying them at a much lower valuation, a much lower point, which creates their profit, right? Because they're returning at a much cheaper point. So from here, down here, buy down here. Now, when they're buying, they're creating buying pressure. So naturally, you're going to see the stock price move up. This is why you see stocks on the daily base that basically would go up. They were probably down, whatever, 300, 200, like crazy amounts. Like they could be down 80, 90%. And now you'll see a sudden 10%, 15, 40%, 50% rise, because again, shorts are getting out of that position. This is a day trader's dream case scenario, and that's what they look for. And they go look for basically a stock that is heavily shorted, and they see that, hey, you know what? Now I see, due to whatever fundamentals or whatever indicators or technical analysis that they use, each have their own. There's many out there. Some even create their own nowadays. For me personally, I love the moving averages. They're much better telling at just the data. It tells you numbers. It's better than having to choose the exact point of a bottom or a top. It's a dangerous game. But to have a very assuring step forward, and that's what day traders live for, is those moments, because every short that closes a short position or that initiates a short position, eventually it has to close it to collect its profits, unless the stock goes completely bankrupt, and then they don't even have to close, and everything is fully profitable for them. They make all their money, and they don't even have to pay any taxes on it. Now, that's as far as day traders. They will always be a part of the party. Any party that goes down, if they hear about it, best believe they'll be at it. They don't need an invitation. That's what day traders are. Now, the second case scenario here is the opposite. Instead of shorts going to willingly close their positions to basically make money, it's the opposite. Is when they get margin to go and close their positions. And that's the dream case scenario for us as AMC movement, family, and community. It also would be the day trader's dream case scenario, but for many, if the second scenario happens, it'll be too late to jump in, unless you're jumping in for extremely high valuations. Because when it starts going, it's gonna be way out of the reach of many. Like the fruits are gonna be on the higher branches of the tree that many can't reach. Anywho, that's the dream case scenario for us as AMC, and that's what I'm in it for. That's what the essence of this movement was always about. Because when they get margined, there's various reasons to why they get margined. Of course, not being able to fulfill their margin requirements, but one of the main reasons is basically a price surge to the upside in the ticker symbol or in the price that they're shorting, and for that matter, the parties that are basically lending out the shares, or the parties that initiated the short position with these or went into contracts with these predatory hedge funds to initiate those short positions, will basically come and knock on our door and say, hey, the margins are breached, come in and close, unless you can meet your margin requirements. If they can't meet them due to heavier and heavier losses, like what happened with Archegos, Melvin Capital, and many before in the past, then that's when you basically will see the vaporization effect come in full force. And when they're closing at much higher and they get margin, they're closing at whatever value the stock is on the market. And keep that ringing in the back of your head. And at that point, they have no choice. They can't just go in, and they're not covering to collect profits. Not like in the first scenario where they collect the profits because they effectively closed their short position at a much lower valuation. Now they're all down in strip clubs and they order strippers and they're shooting lines of coke, and like how you see in movies. No, in this second scenario, it's the opposite. They will be people jumping with their boxes from offices in the 100th floor or whatever. Not that we're looking for that, or we'll be excited about that. But again, each person makes their bed in this world, right? In this life. You got to take accountability and take ownership of your own actions in your life. However, when they're closing for losses, they're closing basically, as I mentioned, not to make profits. They're closing to basically perhaps stay alive, just to fight another day. And many of them don't even get that chance. The ones that come later down the line, they don't even have that. They just go through chapter 11 and they just go get bankrupt. That's it. And they send those letters like Melvin Capital did to all their investors saying, I'm sorry, please give me another chance and give me more money. I'll F you up again. I speak this so that, one, you don't forget which of the two are we in this for. Because somehow, while I never viewed this as two sides or three sides in this movement, I viewed it all as one side. And yes, many fakesters and many fake friends and all this stuff. To me personally, I've never viewed it as many different sides. I viewed it always as just one side. And that's what helps me sleep at night much better, because to me, it is just one side, my theory. It's my investment. And all of you are to think the same way. Literally, all of you have to think the same way and have to be the same way. You can't put your investment in someone else's thoughts or somebody else's mind. You are the commander-in-chief of your own investment, and you have to be. At the end of the day, whether the ones that did it for 80 years or the ones that did it for 1 hour, they're going to hit you with that special line of, this is not financial advice. Trust me, bro, whatever. The only thing you can do here, instead of having to follow someone down this path, because it is your own investment, so what happens is on you. No matter what happens, it's on you. You can't even blame anybody. You can't even have just a small little whisk of blaming anybody, no matter how this turns at the end. But the best thing you can do is align yourself with the ones who think alike. Your best interest. What are your interests? How do you view this movement? Do you view it as scenario number 1, or do you view it as scenario number 2? Because if you view it as scenario number 1, then it's totally fine. Just align yourself with similar minds who think that way. You'll have yourself a 60% and 80% rise in stock and call that a short squeeze or a MOAS. No one can bring you down for that. It's your God-given right. It's your own money. It's your own decisions and your own investment. For me, I speak very blatantly like this because I want everybody who's watching this, who's listening to me, to understand or let you into my mind and in my heart to where I'm coming from. So if that aligns with you, then I'm not, at the end of the day, as I just said, I'm not giving you any advice. I'm just speaking on that sense. Now, the ones to be afraid of are the ones that speak about MOAS but they're truly after scenario number one. Thus far, they're always leaving the door open. You know, anybody, it's so easy to go ahead and move with where the majority of the people are moving. It's easy to do that. It's easy to be part of the sheep and basically move with where the majority of the people are moving. But those same individuals will flock you in that direction. And at the same time, those are the same individuals, if the favorer starts heading the opposite direction, they will be one of the first individuals to jump in that direction because they always leave the door open. Oh, I don't see this happening, but if it does, hey, I'm not always right. Because I'll just leave it at that. So basically, make sure you remember and you always keep reminding yourself, what are we in this for? What are you in this for? No one can tell you what's right and what's wrong, but what are you in this for makes it's like a world difference apart, you know, from somebody else's. And I'm in this, as I mentioned plenty of times before, for scenario number 2. Please put in the comment section your thoughts. Put your which scenario you're with, the margin way or the fundamental way. Okay, and if you have any other questions about anything else or about any other topics, please also put them there, because that will bring up my awareness to what I need to cover basically next for you. And as far as for the ones that got the free tips in this video to go and make content, you're welcome all the time. With that being said, much love, AB Investments.